Hey, Hakeem Jeffries. Hey, get Hakeem and tell him to bring Chuck. Hey, Chuck Schumer, you got your message. You got your message. And we heard it from her. So, what y'all want to do? Hey, shout out to all of my subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. Now, as many of you are well aware, we have spent quite a bit of time supporting, cheering, being blown away, defending, whatever the case may be, the dynamo that is Texas's Jasmine Crockett.
Thank you. Because every day that we show up in D.C., we show up for you. We know who we work for. We know that we work for the American people. And what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they're trying to pull right now.
But she's not the only one on the left side of the aisle. I've sought fit to try and give props to people speaking truth to power, like Maryland's own Jamie Raskin, or Ayanna Pressley, or Summer Lee, of course, Al Green. Most recently, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy.
So if the Department of Education closes, it's going to hurt millions of families in this country. It's just going to enable the theft of resources from regular families to pad the pockets of the billionaires. But it is also likely to result in you waking up one day and finding out that your local elementary school that your kids go to is owned by a private equity firm on the other side of the country and is being run for profit instead of being run for the education of your kids.
But if there's one person or really two people that haven't gotten nearly enough attention from me on this channel, it is Bernie Sanders and AOC. And coincidentally, they happen to be traveling the country together. How about that?
Thousands of people packing the Mullet Arena in Tempe, while thousands more watched from an overflow site outside to listen to politicians from the other side of the country.
The distance between us is a lot shorter than we think.
Prominent progressives Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez bringing their Fighting Oligarchy tour to the Valley, raising concerns over President Trump's administration and influence of Elon Musk.
Now, Bernie is solidified in my book. His bona fides go all the way back to the civil rights protests. Yes, if you were in the civil rights protests and you were on the right side of history way back then, oh, you will get that respect from me. All the way from then up to this last little protest that we saw from Bernie, which not only represented him, but also represents probably the way the rest of my life is going to look like if I stay on the East Coast. I mean, really.
We will not accept a society today in which we have massive income and wealth inequalities, where the very rich have never done better while working families are struggling to put food on the table.
But as for AOC, we have spoken about her before.
Mr. Speaker, you may wonder why so many of our friends across the aisle who care so deeply about the rule of law happen to be so desperate to pass this bill after they are unleashing people who attacked police officers here on this Capitol into roaming our streets, who are publicly saying now they want to get a gun. Suddenly, these folks care about public safety? I don't think so. Look no further than the price tag of this bill, $83 billion. They know that it can't be paid for. They know that the capacity is not there. And you know what will be there? Private prison companies are going to get flooded with money, who give this money, no doubt. I want folks at home to look. Look at what members of Congress are invested in private prison companies who receive this kind of money, and look at the votes on this bill. It is atrocious that people are lining their pockets with private prison profits.
And we've also seen just how dangerous it is to try to come for her.
And I love when AOC lectures Elon Musk about not being intelligent. I'm like, oh, she's such a genius. You know, I'm inspired by her every word.
You were in the bar. You were in a bar.
Yeah.
You were in a bar, AOC.
Well, that's the only thing she and I have in common.
To serve one.
Exactly.
You know you done fucked up, right? No. You know you done fucked up, right?
For all the big talk that Republicans and the Trump administration like to flap about working people, if you actually listen carefully, every once in a while they let the mask slip about what they actually think about us. You know, just last week, President Trump's lawyer, her name is Alina Habba, she went on television, and when she actually had to be faced with explaining her job, and when she actually had to be faced with doing her job, this is what she had to say. Quote, what intellectual thought? When she was asked about me, quote, what intellectual thought? You were in a bar. You were in a bar, AOC, and not to have a drink, but to serve one. And I want you all to understand, I don't care what this woman says about me, but I want you to understand that she isn't just talking about me here. She's talking about you. She's talking about all of us. Because the entire job of the president's lawyer is to speak for him. Trump hired her to speak for him. So imagine what it means for our country that the president's own lawyer cannot even conceive of a working class person being intelligent simply because of the job that they have. This woman could not even recognize the American dream if it was fed to her on a silver spoon.
Exactly. All right, Alina Habba, thank you.
But this time, she was in rare form. She made an appearance in Tempe, Arizona, and in her own words, I'm here to remind you of a simple fact. In spite of what Trump wants you to believe, we are not powerless in this moment. I've been on the road with Bernie Sanders these last few days. Here's what I had to say.
We share in the frustration and the heartache that comes from watching people in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. We are here because an extreme concentration of power and corruption is taking over this country like never before. But we are also here because we know that a better world is possible. But to get there, we need to be honest about where we are right now. We are witnessing an oligarchy in America. When those with the most economic, political, and technological power destroy the public good in order to enrich themselves at the price of millions of Americans. And the thing is, our political system is ill-prepared for this kind of abuse of power.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there, AOC. You was cooking. You was cooking. You were absolutely cooking. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. There's not a system that can be built to be prepared for this type of abuse of power if the people within the system do nothing. You can't people-proof the system. That is the thing, because the system has been preventing these kinds of abuses of power for quite an extended period of time when you had people that took their oaths seriously and operated within the system as it was designed. But when you have people in the system who refuse to obey the inherent intentions of the system, you don't really have a system at that point. That'd be like saying the Washington Wizards are ill prepared for the kind of abuse they receive when they play basketball. I mean, they're supposed to be, but that's a personnel issue, you know? The road team thrives when the home team does nothing.
Our political system is ill prepared for this kind of abuse of power. In fact, much of our political system enables this kind of corruption, starting with the role of money in politics.
Well, there you said it right there. There you said it. There you said it right there. And maybe I should have mentioned in my past comments the system as constituted pre-Citizens United, because when the money flowed, you know, that just turned into a transaction at that particular point. Like, the abuse would be not doing the thing that you are being paid to do.
But I am here to remind you all that we are not powerless in this moment. People are starting to put the pieces together. And ironically, the most divisive forces in this country are actually starting to bring more of us together. And that's important. Because the same billionaires who are taking a wrecking ball to our country derive their power from dividing working people apart. They specialize in getting us to turn on one another.
How? Are we going to finish the sentence? We going to talk about how they have gotten us to turn on? No, that's not important right now. Put a pin in that one. No, put a pin in that one. All right, go ahead.
They specialize in getting us to turn on one another along lines of left or right, of race and gender, of status, of creed, of culture, of who you love.
Oh, we cooking now. We cooking now. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what hey, find me one of them fans with Harriet Tubman on it. You got one of give me, okay, you ain't got, give me the Mary McLeod Bethune.
They will throw out every label and judgment and cultural debate in the book in order to keep us distracted, because the last thing they want us to realize is that the actual division in this country is between those at the very, very top and their endless greed costing the lives of everyone else.
And there is no better reference point for that than the trans athletes debate. No better reference point. We just saw them sign an executive order to eliminate the Department of Education. They're coming for Social Security. They're coming from Medicare and Medicaid. Elon Musk has access to sensitive information as an unelected bureaucrat. And you worried about the rec league soccer? And if they don't change their tune on environmental protections, won't be no rec league nothing.
And that's why we must stand together, Arizona. We gotta get ready for this fight. Now, I understand that their disdain for working people by some of the most powerful people in this country doesn't just come from not being raised right, okay? This disdain is shorthand for the right's entire political agenda and a certain ugly kind of politics in this country. And that is lying to and screwing over working and middle-class Americans so that they can steal our health care, Social Security, and veterans benefits in order to pay for their tax cuts for the billionaires and bailouts for their crypto friends.
In other words, their disdain for the working class doesn't come from them not being raised right. It just comes from them being honest about how they were raised.
And I understand what it feels like to watch all of this stack up. How overwhelming and brazen all this selfishness is, the constant headlines and notifications, dismantling the Department of Education, trying to end birthright citizenship, the things that make us American. I understand how overwhelming it can feel. And it can make even the best of us want to give in to despair, to feel tired, to feel like there's not much worth fighting for. Because when the system is stacked against you, it's hard to feel like anything you do matters. It's hard to feel like we matter in this democracy. And it is easy to give in to the despair. And I can tell you, I know that when I was waitressing and struggling to put food on the table, for a while there, I did. I tried to stop caring. I tried to just keep my head down, work my shifts, and accept that this is just how things are. But that is no way to live, Arizona. It's no way to live. What I do know is that we don't have to live like this. And in fact, we cannot live like this anymore.
Hey, Hakeem Jeffries. Hey, get Hakeem and tell him to bring Chuck. Hey, Chuck Schumer, you got your message. You got your message. And we heard it from her. So, what y'all want to do?
And you know, I'll tell you, Donald Trump does see the immense pressure that working people are under. But his answer to that pressure is an America that operates on a logic of every man for himself. And I do say every man for himself because he sure doesn't believe in women's rights. But now that Trump is back in power, we can see it clear as day. He's handed the keys of this country to Elon Musk and is selling off the United States for parts to the richest people on the planet for a kickback. And in exchange, these billionaires and corporations and lobbying industries will back his campaigns and fund them as well as those of his allies.
Prove her wrong. Go ahead and prove her wrong, because I know, MAGA, y'all love to be on the internet. Y'all love a good conspiracy theory. Go ahead. I would love, just go ahead and knock yourself out. Prove any piece of that wrong. I dare you.
They scratch his back and he scratches theirs, and the rest of us get left behind. And I'll tell you, the clever thing about what these guys do is that they sell working people like you and me on the idea that we're just one step out of being in that club too. That you're just a little bit away from being one of them. Grind set mindset, right? Except those kinds of spoils that they are rolling in are not earned. They aren't working for those billions of dollars. They're stealing them. They're stealing them from you and you and you and your mom and your grandparents and all of us. Just look at what Elon and Trump are doing to our health care, to our veterans benefits, and to Social Security. They are slashing the programs that we have spent a lifetime paying for.
And then she brings things quite present, where she talked about them slashing the programs that we have spent a lifetime working for. Because forget all of the grinding that you've already put in, like all the stuff that we advocate that you do for you to get access to, all of these goodies, all of these spoils that we enjoy. We know that you've already put in all that extra work, but you know, like we just decided, you know what I mean? We gonna leave it up to Elon. Yeah. What you will receive for your lifetime of blood, sweat, and tears.
By the way, not them, because these billionaires have not paid their fair share in taxes in years. So we are paying into this, and they are trying to take it. And mind you, even if you aren't on Medicaid or Medicare, this raises your private health insurance costs too. And let's talk about Medicaid and Medicare for a second. Because just a few weeks ago, every single House Republican voted to cut Medicaid in this country.
One more time for those in the back.
Every single House Republican voted to cut Medicaid in this country. They are fights over our values as a country. Because Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security were promises that we as a people have made to each other about the kind of country we are and the kind of society we want to live in. And I don't know about you, Arizona, but I want to live in an America that guarantees health care to every person. I want to live in an America that has a living wage for every person. I want to live in America where you have free speech to express yourself and not be afraid of getting put on a list or deported. But these promises that we've made, they are not promises from politicians to the people, or they're not charity from billionaires to everyday Americans. They are promises we have made to each other.
Now, on that note, I second AOC, and that is also the kind of country that I want to live in. But I don't know that that's the kind of country that we want to live in. Yeah, I saw a post the other day that said if there was no fire department and somebody proposed for us to take tax dollars in order to ensure that fires don't rage out of control, there would be a significant portion of America that would say, wait, so I'm supposed to pay my money because he couldn't keep his house straight? That's how that would go. That is how that would go. And we know it. And we also know, based on America's history, that the mechanisms that they have used to divide the working class have been quite effective, to the point where when there are opportunities of upward mobility that has been offered to everybody, it's been rejected because it was open to everybody. So in that vein, I would say, while that's the kind of country I want to live in, and I love hearing that from you, AOC, America has spoken for quite a long time.
I believe that in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world, if a person gets sick, they shouldn't go bankrupt. Common sense. I believe that a minimum wage should cover the minimum cost to live. Common sense. And by the way, we should also see that not paying a living wage is actually a form of corporate welfare too. Because these big companies like Walmart and Amazon often rely on food stamp programs and public coffers to cover the wages that they won't pay.
Speak on it. Speak on it. No, because they love to call out welfare. They talk about welfare queens and people relying on the government. Oh, speak on that. Normalize this kind of talk.
I believe that homes are not slot machines for investors and big banks to extort working families out of every last dollar that they have. A home is sacred. And when your landlord doubles your rent overnight, or housing prices skyrocket because Wall Street treats our housing market like a casino, Your government and your public servants should fight to help you keep an affordable roof over your head. I believe that our elected officials should take on abuses of corporate greed everywhere they find it. We must get big money out of politics. That is how we make clear that our country is not for sale. And Arizona, that is why I don't and never will take money from industry lobbyists or corporations.
Now I'm looking at y'all. I'm looking at all y'all, left and right. Who else can say that? Huh? Who else? Huh? Because if we actually want to fix the problem, right? If we actually want to fix the problem, if you really bout it, right? If you really bout it, I don't see a lot of y'all standing up on either side of the aisle.
You know, Fox News. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, folks, Fox News would have, and the right wing would have you believe that these American values are something out of the Communist Manifesto. And that we believe these things because we went to some college and read them in a book somewhere. But I can tell you that I don't believe in healthcare, labor, and human dignity because I'm an extremist. I believe these things because I was a waitress. Because I scrubbed toilets with my mom to afford school. Because I've worked double shifts to keep the lights on. Because I did lose a parent to cancer as a kid and had to see my mom open the hospital bills a couple days later. Because on my worst day, I know what it feels to feel left behind. And I don't want any of us to live like this anymore. We deserve better, Arizona. We deserve better than this. And let me tell you something. This isn't just about Republicans either. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too.
Y'all ready to talk about it? Huh? Y'all ready to talk about it? Cause we'll be here. We'll be here when the rest of y'all are ready to talk about it. In fact, I'm gonna let her finish. Pass me some of them mint candies. Yeah, pass me some of them mint candies. Give me a white shawl and one of them first lady hats. Yeah, give me one of them first lady hats, a white shawl, my mint candy, and I got my Mary McLeod Bethune fan. Take me to church.
You know what that means. We need to come together and spend every day for the next year and a half working to educate other Arizonans and give Schweikert the boot and replace him with a brawling Democrat who will stand up for Arizona. Defend your champions, defend your elected officials taking risks to fight for us, and don't stop there. I want you to look at every level of office around and support Democrats who fight, because those are the ones who can actually win against Republicans. But beyond elections, our bigger task is to build community. Block associations, volunteer groups, PTAs, church organizations, causes all around you. This is the connective tissue that can dismantle fascism. Because community is the most powerful building block we have to defeat authoritarianism and root out corruption. So I'll end where I began, We might all come from different places, but we share a lot of the same experiences. So, your representative. So to all those who came here today unsure of whether this is where you belong, I want to say to you all that you do. Honestly, no matter who you voted for in the past, no matter if you know all the right words to say, no matter your race, religion, gender identity, or status, no matter even if you disagree with me on a few things, but if you are willing to fight for someone you don't know, you are welcome here. If you are willing to fight for working people, regardless of who they are, how they identify, or where they come from, you are welcome here. Because here, everyone is valued. Every life is valued. But I will say this. Those leaders on either side of the aisle who are willing to put their fellow Americans down so that they can get ahead or feel better about themselves, those folks might best find a home elsewhere. Because in this house, we stand together. Because here we know that together, without exception, is the only way that we can win this fight. And so I hope that you see that this movement is not about partisan labels or purity tests, but it's about class solidarity. It's about the thousands of you who came out today to stand together and say our lives deserve dignity and our work deserves respect. No matter who we are or where we come from, we are here to make a sacred promise to each other today, to take care of each other on our worst days and to share in the successes of our best. So with that, I want to introduce to you all a man who has spent his entire life trying to bring us together. You know, I know that one of the things that inspired me to run for office for the first time is that when I saw Senator Sanders on television, and I was wiping tables down and saw the TV on and saying every person in this country deserves health care as a human right. And I know it made me feel almost for the first time that this isn't something that we should earn. This is something that should be afforded to all of us because we are human. Because we are human. And I just want to thank him, and so let's give him the most earth-shaking round of applause. When we come out, everybody, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Oh, they had a whole second sermon? Oh, so this is a whole revival. Oh, I didn't know I came to a revival. Okay, I left something on the stove, but no, I'll be back. I'll be back. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. We have reached a new subscriber milestone, and they're each significant in their own way.
You is kind, you is smart, you is important.
It's the community that's been built around this channel, whether it's you guys' comments and going back and forth during the premieres, or whether it's you guys' comments on the actual videos, or you guys sharing the content. Those are all things that have helped this channel reach the level that it is right now, and it is those things that will allow it to continue to succeed and thrive. So I just wanted to say thank you. Some of your comments and some of your emails, and by the way, if you want to email me, admin@reesewaters.com, if you want to make sure that I have to see something that you have to say, or if you have a suggestion for content, some of your comments and your emails have been so incredible. I actually will start responding to them, not just via the comments or via email, but here on the content itself because it warrants that. Of course, if you would like to join this channel, there's a link to membership in the description box to all of the videos. And of course, be sure to check out my second channel, Way of Waters, where I'll be dropping content on a regular basis as well, trying to find some level of peace. That's where you first got me messed up. She gave him to him, another man, like I'm not gonna get roasted. I ain't found it yet. I'm looking for it. That's what the channel is for.